Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me, this is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, May 6, 2023, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Remember that we all have been in habit for a very, very, very long time. We don't realize we're in habit because we've been in it so long that it seems just regular to us. What that means is you believe there's where you don't understand what it means to be knowledgeable or aware that you're the God in the body. Because of so many habits that we have, because we've been so attached to the body, so therefore we gravitate towards the physical instead of the spiritual. We don't, it's not like we identify that, but that's where we have leaned toward as a civilization. Because of all of the outside influence on the body, which is the ego mind, specifying and stipulating and directing and guiding generations of us. And what happens over time is that we don't nurture the spiritual. And we're not talking about going to church. That's religion. That's man-made religion. But we don't nurture the spiritual. What do we nurture? The physical. Look around you. You see it everywhere. Everybody's focused on the material physical, not the spiritual. If that was the case, then how is this answered for you? All you have to do is look around and you'd see the spiritual, not the physical. You would see the influence of the spiritual and not the physical. But when you, as a watcher, right, you're not judging, you step outside of it and you see it as what it is. Physical material is the enticement for the body. We create the physical material to entertain us as well as educate us. And that's why things are right in this very moment the way they are, is because we have a breakaway transition of this civilization to start embracing the spiritual and view outside the physical. Less and less swimming in the pool, material physical, and more kind of kicking back and watching it all. Spending more time in the spiritual. I get a lot of people that say they have such a hard time meditating. They say they try, but it just doesn't work. Anybody can focus on the breath, right? It isn't rocket science. You focus on the breath, which moves you into the now automatically. And the more times the ego mind tries to pull you out of that, you just basically go back into focusing on the breath. It does take practice. I mean, the first time. And so when people say they can't meditate, they just doesn't work. It isn't about it working. Because when you do go in and you actually do focus on your breath, it always works. You go into the now. You don't go into yesterday or tomorrow. You go into the now. You stop suffering. But every one of us know that you've done this. You've done the material physical many, many, many lifetimes. Now, the interesting thing is that, well, what if in one of those lifetimes someone says, well, I discovered I was the God in the body? Well, then you would not be in this life. you would have not incarnated in this life because you would have discovered who and what you are. No one has, see, and this is interesting because it's seeped into the spiritual where there's always something that has authority over you. You ever notice that? It's a illusion, but it's depicted in front of us all the time that there's something somewhere that has an authority over you. And that's just absolute garbage. It's crap. There's nothing that has authority over you. Nothing. Never was. There never will be. What happened? When we're confronted with something that we're not knowledgeable about, and let these creatures, these parasiticals come in, and they just set up shop and portray themselves as your leaders. 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, now we, the people, don't know anything about really. Everything's hush and awesome. So we really don't know. We go out every day. We know that 99% will do what they say they're going to do. So as we progress, because we are progressing upward and higher frequency, but as we progress and move forward, we will begin to discover that what we have stumbled upon. When I say New Earth, I mean the fact that the entire infrastructure is gone and the new one comes in. This means shifting the entire social structure of the planet. This means directing and having people open up to themselves as far as doing what they are. You kind of graduate. I'll tell you this. When you discover you're in physical form, that you're the God, right? You're pure consciousness. You are supremely omnipotently powerful, and you never die. You're master, manifester, and your supreme reality. So let's say you discover this during the course in this physical form, right? In this body, in this lifetime. And you really do discover it, and you do embrace it, and you begin to learn more. Like you're not, you're the light, and you don't follow the light, and no one's forcing you to incarnate, okay? They're tricking you, right? Forcing and tricking are two different things. But it doesn't make sense. You discover all that. You know you're the God. You never die. So, what would compel you, now that you've discovered that, to come to this planet, incarnate into a body, be electronically zapped several times, and have no memory of who and what you are? Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. Because what would happen is that the majority of souls that come into physical form would discover this, and they would no longer be manageable. They wouldn't be manageable. What does that mean? They wouldn't believe all the crap that's been shoveled at them as complete nonsense and illusion. Wouldn't believe it. We would transcend way, way, way out there. And so isn't it interesting? We keep incarnating the gods that we are. We reincarnate, incarnate, and physical form. And we know nothing. Anything that we have gained is removed temporarily. So we don't know who and what we are. Now, what happens when that cycle is broken? What happens to us? We've discovered our true nature, our natural state of being. Now, I can almost guarantee you that, and then what would you discover? That you could literally blink in and out anywhere in existence whenever you choose as the God you are. You can create anything randomly at will. So you can see where it could get boring for us, right? So what we do is we choose an avenue to experience physical material life in many different ways that's not violated. Because eventually, as things go by, we move out of this matrix. Okay? We move out of it. We don't stay. If you believe that we're going to stay in this matrix forever, then you need to check up from the neck up, and you need to do more discovery. We will eventually leave the 7-layer matrix of this universe. We decide, the gods that we are, where we go and what we do. To a certain extent, we leave an unknowing. Okay? This is up. So that we don't get bored. So we leave this, leave the body and we move on. It might be another body, it might be something, but here's the difference. We won't have blank memories. We won't have blankness. We won't be electrically shocked because it's an absolute idiotic, redundant process. You have consciousness. You leave the body. You don't know where you're at. Okay, the God that you are. You're wandering. You have no clue where you're at. Then you stumble upon a light that appears. And you feel so loved by this light that you are seduced into it. Now you go into this, and then you leave the body. After you leave the body, and then as you go into the light, you're zapped. Tremendously powerful electronic current. So what does that mean? It means that you forget just about everything. Now you get to the so-called matrix designed and engineered holographic other side. And you see all these familiar faces and everything. And the funny thing is that they depict that in Hollywood and movies and stuff and books, they depict that you are carrying the old body you left behind on Earth. Okay, so you're carrying that. That's how you appear. The old body that's long gone that you left. You carry this. But so everybody, and this is the stupid story, everybody just is so happy to see you. You're wonderful. And they're all clapping and hugging, and you see all your relatives there. Why would they be carrying a life body that is no longer of a life that is no longer? Oh, well, because you associate with that, and it's more seduction. And then, you go along, you get acclimated, and you do some things, and then you have the opportunity to reincarnate. Well, by this time, you don't remember who and what you are, any of your past lives. And so it's just like reckless abandon, randomness. You say, I'm going to go back and I'm going to be this, and I want to do this and do that, and then I'm going to do this, and I want to live this long, and so on and so forth. So you go, and you're in a baby body, and most of us don't. We just, in a baby body, we don't know who and what we are anyway, so. And then things start over. Different parents, different circumstances, right? And this goes on and on and on and on. It is ludicrous. It is idiotic. It accomplishes zero. It's like we've all been put on a hamster wheel. We're all getting somewhere but not moving, right? And a really interesting little twist is that we don't know. We have no idea that we're the God in the body. We have no idea that we're absolutely free 24/7. That we're in bliss 24/7. That we're in peace, contentment, faith, confidence, trust 24/7. But we don't know that. We think all of that is outside of us. So the cycle has to be broken for us to finally begin to migrate in higher and higher frequencies. And the interesting thing is that we learn not to become so attached to ourselves and everything else around us, like glue, super glue. We won't let go of it, and we won't relinquish it, and we just don't release and make peace. So we drag this stuff every lifetime, more and more, gathers, builds and builds, more and more, and we haven't a clue where it's coming from. So look at all of the time that we spend in these bodies, and the majority of us never go there. We don't go inside. People say it's too boring to go inside. No, not really. The key denominator, fear. Fearing the God that you are. Isn't that amazing? Fearing the God that you are. You can go in and you can meet your God. Now, very few people will do that. Really. This is what is evolving and being taught to the young ones so that they start understanding. And what does this motivate to have happen? To know thyself. To not waste this life away trying to get somewhere you don't know where. Going so fast you don't even do the journey along the way. This is all a choice each one of us eventually is going to make. Yay or nay. And the ones that say nay will keep going in lifetimes, keep going and going and going, but not really understanding anything because that's the only lifetime. The other lifetimes have been literally ghosted away, wiped from the mind. Illusions. Then you begin to realize that, okay, so what are you looking at for yourself? You're looking at an incessant reincarnation for eternity with no knowledge of previous lives and the very, very slim chance of discovering that you're actually the God in the body and not the body. Religion is not going to help you to discover that. If anything, it will separate you further from it. The major key element for humanity, for mankind, for whatever you want to call this civilization, it's imperative. What do you think happens when you don't know who and what you are? Right? You're caught in the matrix. You believe that the matrix is real. In fact, you have no doubt about it. And then you find out, by happenstance, it's all a lie. But you're grateful because you've learned a lot through the lie. The grand deception. Keep this civilization asleep. Keep it in the dark. So when the time comes that we want to switch it out, we won't have to lift a finger. There's the chance, the choice. And, some of us will step through the door with open arms and embrace it. Others will fight it tooth and nail every step of the way. And others will just completely ignore it. Because we can't just keep, really, reincarnating for thousands and thousands of years and thousands of lifetimes and never really discovering who and what we are. Because quite frankly, most of us don't have enough time in these bodies to discover who and what we are. This is so we can move on. And as we all know, there's different phases and steps in anything. And this isn't a race, but it's a discovery. And as we go along through that transition, we will learn. And we won't be deceived. Now, what do you think will happen when that day comes? What do you think will where do you think will transpire? Well, you'll be in other galaxies and universes as the God that you are, and then you'll choose. Oh, maybe I'll incarnate as that. See what that's like. Or over here, this. See what that's like. And you know what? You won't have blank memory. You'll have been able to dispel that. And some of you have shared with me in the last couple of weeks that you're frustrated because it's difficult to find like-minded people that you can interface and interact with. Most of the people that you approach are zeroed out. So you write this down and you say, here's my choice. Where am I at with discovering who and what I am? Kind of a inventory kind of process. How do I become closer to the God that I am within this body? Am I still concerned in this life about what other people think about me? These are all questions that we should be asking ourselves. Now, this planet is changing, accelerating, and some people they're having a challenging time to adjust to it. It is because of the fact that they don't know who and what they are. What do you think would happen, okay, believe it would happen, if the majority of people on this planet knew that they were the only authority for themselves? Okay? That they answered to the God within them as the God that they are. So they know that nobody had authority over them. Nobody on this planet has authority over anyone else. That's very true. It's really voluntary. If you decide to follow someone, it's because you've decided to follow someone for certain reasons, that you trust them, that you have faith in them, that you have confidence in them, right? But what happens when everyone leads themselves? Do you think there would be war, pestilence, disease? Wouldn't exist. This is part of the transition of planet Earth. Okay? And then we are, when we're one with ourselves, with the gods that we are, then that's when all the magic happens. And those of us who are on the planet with full total recall of all the lifetimes we've had, okay? But the only have that opening comes when you have merged with the God that you are in that body. See, then everything opens up. Because now you're not operating from the physical material world, you're operating from the heart-minded world. So everything shifts, it's totally changed. Perspectives, attitudes, everything. It's like, say you're traveling along, right? And due to another person driving, it's a clear and present understanding that they cause you to collision with them, their vehicle. And there's no insurance. Zero insurance. And you say to them, it's my responsibility, or they say to you, this is my responsibility, so I will fix your vehicle. No issues, no arguing, no nothing. That's what's taking responsibility for our own lives is about in this physical material world. So we lead ourselves through the gods that we are. Not any external authority that has so impressed upon humanity that it's supposed to follow. You ever notice that? Humanity is always supposed to follow something. And the majority of the time, we really don't know what we're following. We just know we're following. Do we know where we're going? No, not really, but we feel safe and secure to follow whoever it is that's impressed us enough to follow them. But we don't know them. But why do we need to follow anything? The only thing that we follow is the God that we are. And we interact. Sure, along the way, we have to entertain ourselves. What the heck would we do if we didn't create things to entertain ourselves? Man, we would be bored to tears. But see, there's a process of getting there. It's surrendering, forgiving, all about you, all the things with you, forgiving, surrendering, embracing, loving, nurturing you. Understand that the unknown is where all the possibilities are. So, it is a complete transition for every one of us. Just about everybody on this planet, for some reason or another, feels guilty about something. Okay? Nobody's exempt. Every one of us has something to feel guilty about. Right? Or what? Fearful. It doesn't necessarily mean that we know what that is. It's just kind of like a burr under the saddle. It just, it kind of irritates us off and on. It's like you say to yourself, you ever said this? Why am I not happy about this happening? The person says they just don't feel happy about it or excited about it. But it was something that they wanted. But now that they have it, they're not really enthused about it. And then someone says out of clear blue, I thought you were going to really like this. And you said, so did I. But now that I have it, I'm really not interested in it. You see how things work? And then you fake it, You say, oh, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. And things like this happen all the time across the planet. You're wealthy. All of a sudden, you're like, bam, wow. And, of course, your expectations, right, were that you were going to be just blown away. Biggest, best thing could ever happen in your lifetime. So then you get the wealth, and you say to yourself, how come I'm not excited about this? I was really pumped about this for a long time. I don't feel too excited about it at all. And then someone chimes in and says, how come you're not excited about this? You've got this great wealth. And you say to them, I know. But all of a sudden, I'm not excited about it. You know why? Because on the other side of it is major responsibility. How many of us, openly with ourselves, accept responsibility? When push comes to shove, let's just say that when you manifest something that you really want, And I think we've all had this experience at least once in all these lifetimes, where we get it and we're like flat. And no matter what we do, we can't get back that enthusiasm we had while it was maturing, while it was out there, while it was being created by the universe. Because it isn't fulfilling. Because it's material, physical, and not spiritual. So you got to go, and you get seduced by the ego mind. You keep looking, right? You keep searching, keep looking, keep wanting, keep needing. And then all of a sudden a buzzer goes off and you go, oh no, I'm out of body. All that stuff's by the wayside. And you go right back into the incarnation cycle. And you go into body and you start over again as a baby body. Now, when we know we're the God in the body, and that's where we spend all of our time and our focus, in the now, on the breath, the God in the body. So we focus on all this, and then we look at the material physical world and say, I think I'm going to create this so that I can experience it. It's that simple. I'm going to create this because I want to experience it. Now, I don't know the outcome of it, really. I don't know what the challenge will actually be until I move into it, embrace it. But I'm going to do it. And this is how we live. Now, we just don't come out and say that to ourselves like I just did. It's subconscious. Everything's an experience. Everything. Now, you talk with somebody, right? And they say to you, this is what I experienced. And they share their story with you. You are sitting there going, wow, what did you do then? And how did you handle this? And, what happened next? And how did it all end up? And for you, it's like, holy cow, how did they ever get through that? They created it to experience. You could have all the knowledge you could possibly imagine. But if you don't have any experience, you're like a babe in the woods. Because everything, there's always a twist and a turn. Nothing is what it appears to be. Nothing. And what we do is we ad-lib through this life, through other lifetimes. What does ad-lib? We kind of fly by the seat of our pants. Oh, yes, we have things in place, and we have this and that. And then everything changes, and the whole world's turned upside down. You're not prepared for it because you were too attached. You were too attached to things. You had too many expectations to things. And when that happens, and then something comes in that you manifest, you create, and it doesn't mean if you're aware of it, and it comes in and it turns everything upside down. In other words, there's a new incoming happening. And then all of a sudden you say, you caught your pants saying, go, what the heck am I going to do now? Because you see, in order for us to become more awake, we pay more attention to ourselves. And we learn to take nothing for granted. Even a hangnail we don't take for granted. Even a scrambled egg we don't take for granted. Every moment of this physical material life is precious. Every step we take. And we learn to forgive ourselves, embrace the gods that we are within these bodies, release the heaviness that we carry unnecessarily, and be free. Genuinely so. I'll join you in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And take an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. Finding inner peace, being alone, in the gateway is the gateway to freedom and is the foundation of every spiritual awakening. So I invite you to take this weekend to be completely alone and relax. Find a very quiet, peaceful place where you can simply be yourself and discover a deeper state of peace inside. Eat healthy foods, take a nap, meditate, go for a long walk every day. Learn the sacred art of relaxation. Rest in your innermost being and enjoy the experience. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. And we will return here Sunday, May 7th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the deepest, deepest, deepest of gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on around you.